Ladies and gentlemen, the football is back, the championship is back, and I'm back. I was going to do a prediction video on League One, and then I realised that I know absolutely nothing about the league. We're dropping into it. I ain't got a clue what's going on, but I do have some kind of idea of what's going on in the championship. So I've got to do my predictions, If you've been wondering what I've been up to, I've recently become a father, so he'll be proud to know that I'm still making tier list videos and doing football watch-alongs. Come on, that is sick. Look at that. Little shorts as well. Come on. I just want to make a note that last year I predicted Sheffield Wednesday to finish 22nd, and then look what happened. We ended up finishing 22nd and got relegated. I get it. It's funny. Laugh all you want. But I did not expect you to sign the managerial prodigy that is Danny Roll, especially with Chansiri. So I'm not sorry. I'm not sorry. But we'll come to you later. We're going to do it in tier list format because it's easier. But yeah, I mean, sadly, this is going to be the first ever championship predictions video I've done where Birmingham aren't in it. So there's less bias in this video, you can say straight away. At least I'm coming from a completely unbiased point of view, mostly. But I think we get straight into it because I've got a lot to go through. We're going to start off with the bottom three. Now, I have gone for Derby, 24th, Plymouth, 23rd, and I'll save the last spot till I've mentioned these. Derby County, they got an automatic spot in League One, but I don't know, I'm the least confident in this team out of the three that have gone up for a few reasons. I think Paul Warne is not a good manager at this level. I think his level is League One. I think Derby's squad mostly is League One. They need to bring in a couple more players that got championship experience. Do you think that Ozzo from Crystal Palace, he's meant to be really good, so he could maybe bring something to them, but I just don't think they've got enough. And I don't think the manager's good enough. That, you know, especially around the bottom of the championship, you've got a lot of young upcoming managers that are on an upward trajectory, but I think Paul Warne is kind of one of the ones that you need to leave behind. Derby 24th, you know, there's still time to bring in more signings, but I think they've got a lot of work to do if they want to stay in this division. Next one is Plymouth, and it's an interesting one because it is Wayne Rooney's Plymouth Argyle. Obviously, I said there wasn't going to be bias in this video, and I don't think there is. I think he's the reason we went down. Obviously, because he had such a terrible run. If I was Wayne, what I would say is I didn't have a full preseason and I wasn't able to make my own transfers. I think he's got those two now, and I think he will do better, but I think it's Plymouth Argyle. He's got to change a lot to fit the style of play that he wants to play. And I just don't think he allows enough wiggle room. I don't think he's flexible enough at this level. And I think he asks too much of the players that he has available to him. So for Plymouth, I don't think he's the one. He's such a good player. I think there's a disconnect because I think he expects poor players to be able to do what he can. I think he expects them to have the level of desire that he had as well as a player. Anyway, I'm dragging on. Plymouth, 23rd. I need to speed this up. Blackburn, I'm putting Blackburn is my last place. John Eustace is a good enough manager to keep these up, but it's concerning how much they relied on Smodics last season, and I think he's got to go. Surely he's leaving. Has he gone? Actually, has he gone? Yeah, Smodics is pretty much nailed on to go to Ipswich. I think that'd be a really good signing for Ipswich in the Prem, because even if they come down, they know they've got an absolute baller at championship level. So yeah, he's basically gone, and it looks like they're going to replace him with, checks notes, Scott Hogan. It's not confirmed yet, but it's between them and Oxford. How on earth he's managing to get a job as a striker in the championship is beyond me. I thought he was going to go Turkey with Alex Pritchard or something, and Savispor, and get a decent wage packet, because most of his career has been on decent wages, and now reality's hit him. But again, I'm rambling. I don't think they're going to replace the goals. They were such a one-man club last season. It's ridiculous. They need to replace the goals. Maybe they do, but you'll end up looking in January probably, and you're never going to sign a good striker in January. So I'm sorry, Blackburn. I think you're going down. Let's do another three. Oxford, I'm going to go Preston 20th and Portsmouth 19th. I think Oxford have got a good side. I think they've signed good players. They've got that underdog about them, but I think that they have a kind of togetherness as a squad. They lost Josh Murphy to Portsmouth, which is tough, really tough when you got promoted, especially when I'm pretty sure he scored the goal in the playoff final, didn't he? Got him promoted, and now he's gone to your relegation rivals. It's brutal. It's really brutal. They signed Louis Sibley, good player, tipped to be better than Jude Bellingham at one time by Derby County fans. Maybe, I don't know when it's going to happen, but big move for him. I do think Louis Sibley's probably the pick of the bunch for them signings-wise. I think Oxford will just survive. I think Des Buckingham's got what it takes. Again, one of these young, exciting managers, and I think Oxford I think they're going to be a little bit of a surprise package. Not crazy, but they'll just scrape it. 20th, I've got Preston. They're not going to have a great season. It's pretty boring, and I think they're going to be underwhelming, if I'm honest. They've lost Alan Brown to Sunderland, and they haven't really done anything. I think they've signed about 3 players this transfer window, if I have a look. 3 signings. They've signed Thordarson from Sickleborg, God knows who he is, Sam Greenwood on loan, and Kelsa Hayden on loan from Villa. So 2 loans, 1 permanent signing, and a few on the way out. It's not looking good for Preston, I'm not going to lie. I think they're going to struggle this season. I think they're going to flirt with relegation, but ultimately they'll be okay. And 19th, I'm going to go Portsmouth. They actually just signed Matt Ritchie, which, again, I know he's getting on a bit. I think he's 34, but at this level, he's surely going to be a really good signing for them. Maybe not going to be playing 90 minutes a week, but even if it's off the bench, even if it's 60 minutes here and there, I think he's going to be a really important player for him. And also, like I said, they've got Josh Murphy from Oxford. Again, taking him from a rival is big. But he's really useful. I think he's good enough at this level. And I think Portsmouth have got a good enough side. Again, another young, exciting manager, John Mazzino, who played for Oxford. Then he joined Portsmouth as the manager, I'm pretty sure. And got promoted with them. So it's a weird one. Portsmouth seem to be taking everything from Oxford, but I think they've got a good squad, and I think they'll be fine. I really do. I think they'll push on. I think they'll probably become an established championship club, if I'm honest. I think they're on a good trajectory, Portsmouth. The only thing I'll say about John Mazzino is to dive into your first job here. Took him over to start of 23, had a full season, got him promoted. 6 points off the League One points record, by the way. It's just how he adapts to the championship. It's how is whether he's got the mentality to drag a team through when they're on a losing streak. That's what I want to see. If he's got that kind of man management skill, I'm gonna say yeah. I'm gonna say yeah. I think last season you can't just say that's a luck. To get 97 points in a season, I think you have to be pretty good. So I'll go with that. I'm fucking dragging this on. Right. I'm gonna do some quick now because I'm absolutely dragging this on. So I've talked a little bit about the bottom clubs. I'm gonna rush through mid-table because I don't want this video to be 45 minutes long, and then we'll go for the top 6. I've spent ages researching this, and I'm just gonna absolutely wash through it. But next up, we've got 18th and 17th still to go. So I've got QPR. I'm gonna pop you there. Then I've got Norwich. QPR have made a few signings that I know nothing about, I'm not going to lie. I think they're going to consolidate this season. QPR have made a few signings I don't really know a lot about, not done anything special in the transfer market. I think it's probably going to be a year of consolidation before they really push on and try and push up the league. Maybe I'm being a bit harsh, but yeah, I'm sticking with it. And 17th, I've got Norwich. Yeah, I don't know, man, because this depends. Again, Norwich, it depends on who they bring in. Norwich have brought in Cordoba, who I don't know about. Chris Sane from Villa under 21s. They got Callum Doyle on loan. Yeah, but they've lost Sarah for 18 mil. They're going to lose Jonathan Rowe as well. I think it's going to be tough. I think they've got to replace those players, and I don't think it's going to happen overnight. It's probably going to be a disappointing season for Norwich, but one where, again, they're kind of regrouping. I've probably put them too low, but I'm going to leave it. I've put them there, so we're going to stick with it. Right, let's go 16th to 12th. We've got Millwall, 16th, Hull, Swansea, Baggies, and Stoke. Okay. Don't bite my head off. We're going to go through these one at a time. All right. Millwall, I think Tanganga on a permanent is really good business. He kind of sent us down, really, with that header in the last minute. But yeah, he's got a great pedigree. Played for Spurs. Played a lot of games for Spurs, to be fair. 25 years old. High ceiling. Good player. They've also got Langstaff from Notts County. And again, I think when you know where the goal is, you know where the goal is. There's been a lot of proven cases of being able to come up from the lower leagues and do the job. It's just the question for me is service. I think Langstaff can score goals. I think he's going to be a real threat. I think he's going to be an asset to Millwall, but will their play style match him? I think so. I just think in this league, it's going to be a little bit harder to get him service, but I've got him comfortable 16th, mid-table. I think he'll score a fair few goals, Langstaff. I really don't think they should have got rid of Rowett, but that's just me. Moving on, Hull. Hull are the playoff hangover team for me, and they didn't even get in the playoffs. It's kind of similar to Albion, I think, but Hull gave it a go. They gave it a go like Derby did in like 2016 or something when they had Villa in the playoff final. Villa won. I think it was Frank Lampard's Derby. They had all these brilliant players. The cream of the crop for the Championship, but they just didn't quite make it out. And then there was a hangover. They fell, they dropped, so they couldn't quite get back. Now, Hull have lost Philogene, they've lost Greaves, Carvalho, who they had on loan. These players couldn't even get them in the playoffs, right? They've got a new manager. I don't know if he's any better than Rossignol, to be honest. It's, again, a bit of a shot in the dark. Data-driven appointment, probably. Yeah, I think you've got to collect yourselves. You've got to find out who you are, your identity, what you're going to do without these great players and move on. But I don't think they're going to be pushing for playoffs. I'll go in 15th place. Right, quicker. Swansea, not sure what to make of their signings so far. Let me have a look. Gonçalo Franco, Jisung Yeom, Zan Vipotnik. These all sound very, again, data-driven purchases, which I'm sure, young players, 22, 23 years old, probably signing players with potential. Again, not too sure what's going on. Lost Nathan Wood to Southampton. Lost Plaqueta on a free transfer. Again, so. It's just a bit of the same, I think, for me. I think the players they've signed are ones for the future, but talking about this season, don't see him doing anything other than mid-table, personally. Next up, we got Baggies, and I know people are going to be digging me out for this. 13th place, Baggies. They were in the playoffs last season. I just think they're going to have a bit of a playoff hangover. I'm sorry. They've lost Brandon Thomas-Asante, didn't score a great number of goals, but again, it's someone you got to replace. They brought in Devante Cole. Meh. Honestly, meh. I don't know, like, probably a downgrade still. Definitely a downgrade, actually. They've not really spent anything this transfer window, and now they're under sanctions from the EFL, which limits the amount they can spend. So, it's not looking good. Question is, how long's Colbrand gonna stick around with all this going on? Now that they're under these sanctions, is he going to stick around, or is a team that in the lower half of the Prem, they're going to come after him? And why wouldn't you? I think it's going to be easier to get hold of than someone like Danny Roll. So that's why I've got Baggies down there. I think they're going to have a change of manager mid-season. They haven't done the business they probably want to. They've got a decent enough squad, but it's going to be underwhelming. The fans are going to be getting on their back at home games. The vibes aren't there. So I've got 13th place. I'm sorry, Baggies fans. 12th place, I've got Stoke. Stoke haven't changed too much about their team. They've signed Sam Gallagher, I'm pretty sure. Let me double check that, because it does seem a very Stoke signing, Sam Gallagher, doesn't it? Yeah, I think he's a good player. At this level. I think for a team like Stoke as well, the way they play, I think he'll do well. Not amazing, but well. But the main thing for Stoke, and I know everyone is saying this, but it's true, Johansson, who played for Rotherham last season, is a great keeper. Everyone's rating him up here at the minute, but I think it's because he's unreal. He's only 25 years old, which is a baby in terms of goalkeepers, and they paid less than $1 million for him. He sent Blues down as well. We were the only team in the Championship not to score against Rotherham, and he was a great keeper, and he saved his best performances for against us. I mean, we were also terrible and didn't take any shots, but anyway, very, very, very good goalkeeper. Rotherham were terrible last season, but if it weren't for this keeper, they'd have had about 2 points. That's why I've got Stoke this high up. I think he's going to win them a fair few points, and I think they're a decent enough side. Nothing special, but 12th place for Stoke. I'm going to get through another 3. Cardiff, Watford, Bristol. Now, I might actually swap these around. Right, Cardiff. They've signed El Ghazi, which, again, no, El Ghazi. El Ghazi just sounds like you're saying Bath in London accent. They've signed more. Have they signed more players? Since I last checked, they've signed Alex Robertson from Man City under-21s, centre mid, looks decent. Wilfred Kanga from Hertha Berlin on loan. Chris Willock, good player. Callum Chambers, good player at this level. Anwar El Ghazi is a really good player. and I can't believe that he's only 29 years old. It feels like a decade ago he was playing for Villa. But yeah, he's a good player. As much as I hate to say it, he was a good player in that era. I think he's going to be good. I think they're going to be decent, but I don't think they're going to be... It says playoff contention. I think they're going to be very, very slight playoff contention, and then they'll realise, yeah, no, we're not getting anywhere near this. Then I've got Bristol City, Sinclair Armstrong, Fali Mayulu from Rapid Vienna, another young player, another one of these data-driven points. You know, we're doing the same thing, but it's good to see. It makes the league more exciting, but we have no idea how good these players are. I don't anyway, but some okay signings. God knows how good they're really going to be. But yeah, Sinclair Armstrong's probably the pick of the bunch in terms of what we know and what he's capable of, and 21 years old, good player. I think Liam Manning as well is another good, young, up-and-coming manager. Exciting stuff. Again, it's going to be interesting to watch how they play, but I don't think they're going to be in the playoffs. I don't think they've got the squad. North place, I've got Watford. I think they're going to flirt with the playoffs. They're going to flirt with the playoffs, but they're not going to... Tom Cleverley's another one of these. I'm not 100% sure if he's got what it takes to lead a team to the playoffs. But Watford are a really exciting squad. They're a squad that I'm really going to keep an eye on next season. I'm going to be watching a few of their games and just seeing how they get on. Got really good team. They have lost one of their more valuable players. Ismail Kone has gone to Marseille for 12 million euros. I don't know why it's always euros. Big loss for them, and they haven't really spent that money yet, so they might replace him. They might spend a bit of money to bolster the squad, but I think they've already got a really good team, and I think it's one to watch this season, next season, in terms of playoff contenders. Just whether Tom Cleverley can really prove himself at this level, but we'll see. It's a long old season. You know, and there's some really good teams. I think the overall quality of the league is better, and it is getting better every year. But obviously, when you get to that top six, it is brutally difficult to sneak in and stay there. There's like 15 teams that could realistically see themselves in there. Sheffield United, I've not had these to get in the playoffs, and I'm going to be drastically wrong with this probably. But I want to make a few out there calls. I wrote this a couple of days ago, and I'm pretty sure they've signed a solid. They've signed Harrison Burrows from Peterborough, who's a really good player. Kiefer Moore, solid, brilliant at this level, I think. Callum O'Hare, good. They've got a good team, but it's just mismatched. They've lost Cameron Archer, Asula, Jaden Bogle, to name a few, and it's just there's a lot going on, I think, and I don't think they're going to really click. That's why I've got them not finishing in the playoffs. I think on paper quality is good, but being a cohesive unit that understands each other is better. And I think that's why there's 6 better teams than them in this league. It's going to be a tough start for Sheffield United. They're going to gain momentum in the second half of the season, and they're going to just fall short. That's what I'm saying. Don't shoot the messenger, even though I wrote the message. Right, now there's one more team to decide who isn't going to make the playoffs. Who isn't going to make the playoffs? And I'm ready to get absolutely slated by a certain someone. I'm sorry, Joe. Okay, I'm sorry. I don't think they're going to make it in the playoffs. I think a lot of people are predicting Sheffield Wednesday to finish in the top 6. I think they've got the best manager in the league. Whether he's going to stay is another factor, but I do think he will. I really do. I don't see why he signed a new deal. They're on the way up. The only way he will leave is if Chansiri really annoys him, and he gets annoyed, limited with transfer activity, stuff like that. And my mate is Sheffield Wednesday fan. He's made the point to me as well. Like, look at their form since he came in, unbelievable form. But I think next season you've got a clean slate. The expectations are up here. I think it's a totally different ball game than getting out from that position. I think they're polar opposites in terms of your mentality. Every game is a cup final when you need to win every game. Now to flip that with the same players and say we're going to go and win the playoffs, that's another thing. So I think he's made a couple of shrewd signings that I, again, don't really know a lot about. But, I mean, actually, Chalobah, Jamal Lowe, Valerie, good signings. Valerie played for Blues. He was meh. I think he's kind of matured a little bit now. Jamal Lowe is I don't know if he's going to play 90 minutes every game, but it's a good option to have. And I think he's signing more players that fit his system, and his system is good, it's proven. He just needs a little bit more depth, and I think that's probably where they're going to fall short as well. One is mentality. I know they've got bags of mentality, but it's just different, right? It's different. Two is depth. I think 7th is very, very fair for Wednesday. If anything, they might finish lower than that. But there you go. They're not getting the playoffs for me. 6th place, Middlesbrough. Good team. I think Latty Lath, that's my golden boot call. I think fully fit for a season. Middlesbrough, you don't look at Middlesbrough and think they're going to do well, but I think they will have a really good season. Carrick's a good manager. He's proven himself to be a good manager at this level. And again, I think the more time you have building a squad consistently, getting them to gel, getting them to know each other, not chopping and changing your manager all the time, I think it's good. I think Hull should have done it. I think Hull should have stuck with Rosenjord, but, Fez. Middlesbrough are going to get the playoffs this season. I just think their squad is maturing. I think it's going to give them the edge next season on just winning a few more games than they did. 5th place, I have got Cov. Right, they've brought in Jack Radoni from Huddersfield, who is a good player, quality. They've brought in Brandon Thomas Asante from the Baggies, which for like 2 million, you can't knock it. And I feel like Mark Robbins is probably the type of manager to bring the best out of him. I think the way they play, he could be an asset. The risk reward for this kind of player, I think is a good signing to have. He might not set the world alight, but worth a go. They've lost Callum O'Hare to Sheffield United, but I think that's okay. He's a good player. I'm not sure if O'Hare needs to be replaced, honestly, but it's not going to leave a hole in them. And I think they're a well-drilled team who are just waiting to get promoted. They're signing good level players, good ages. They're feeding into a system that they know well, and it's a matter of time. 4th place, Burnley. I don't think they're going to get automatics. Sorry. Last time they walked it, they had Vincent Kompany. They had well-drilled team. They were just beautiful football. But it's changed now. They've sacked... They haven't sacked... Did they sack him? I don't think they sacked him. They've just gone to Bayern Munich somehow. And yeah, Scott Parker is not a good manager. Let's put it that way. He's really good at being in the streets cover band. Yeah, I don't rate him. I think, again, they've got the fallout of relegation to deal with. I don't think it's going to be as simple as they think. If I actually look at their movements as well, I'm pretty sure they have a massive squad. Yeah, they've signed a ton of players. They've had a ton come back off loan. Jesus Christ. Yeah. A lot of good players on paper, but I think it's just disjointed. Again, it's similar to Sheffield United. It's disjointed, but I think they've got enough quality in them to get in the playoffs and to finish, 4th? Have we got them? 6th, 5th, 4th place. Don't think they're going to win the playoffs, though. I think they're going to spend another season down in the Championship. I think they're going to, again, have a rocky start and probably find their feet 10 games into the season, 15 games into the season and shoot up from there, but they're not going to do enough to get the top 2 for me. So who are the top 2 going to be? We will see when I pick my 3rd place. Check notes. Let me check my notes. I didn't realize. I forgot I'd done this. I'm just preparing for the hate. This is based off the business they have done so far. Okay? You signed Joe Rodon on a permanent. Cool. Hasn't changed anything. You spent 15 mil and the sales you've made have amounted up to 100 mil. So surely there's room there, and that surely you're going to sign more players. It's just, is that going to be like in January when you're kind of a way off? We all know Ellen Road can be a cauldron, but it can work both ways. If it's not quite going your way, I think the expectation levels are going to be really high this season. That's all I'm saying. Yeah, I think it might get the better of you. I think Leeds are going to be in the top 2 majority of the season, and they're going to bottle it. Just sticking on Leeds for a sec. They've lost Archie Gray and Somerville was very important to the way that they played. And while they still have a ridiculous team, they need to replace him. And it's not as simple as just going, okay, here you go, going to take him, replaced, done. He has to fit the system. Is he going to work the same? I don't know. I'm just going to say Leeds are going to finish 3rd. 2nd place is Sunderland. Now, this is my bold shout, because why not? We've only got one life. We don't know how long we've got on this earth. And so if you want to predict Sunderland to finish 2nd, you can. I've gone for it as my bold choice. I think they're a maturing side. I think they're like the career mode club. They've got all the young players, all the young prospects, but this year they're signing a little bit of experience too, and it's not a ton. They haven't got a ton of leaders, but I think they're becoming a cohesive group of players. Yeah, they've not really made any real signings, but I think it's the way they're holding on to their talent. Job, I think Job is he's just gonna continue leaps and bounds. He's gonna be a real player for them this season. They've got quality. They've got a new manager. I'm gonna try and Reggie Lebris. Sounds like very French, doesn't it? This guy's got pedigree. He's got pedigree, all right? Sunderland are going up. If they hold on to the likes of Job, cohesive unit, they know what they want to do. It's under a new manager, so it has to click, but I think it will. I think they're going to do really well. And then winning the league, I've got Luton. I don't think that's a bold shout whatsoever because it's Luton, and this has been their plan from day one. They got promoted to the Premier League, and they were like, cool, right, we're going to get relegated. But let's just sign players so when we do get relegated, we've got a class squad. We've got a great squad. We don't need to sell anyone. We don't need to do all these clauses, relegation clauses, loan clauses, all that rubbish. It messes with your team. It's rubbish. There's no point with the gap between the Championship and the Premier League at the minute. You may as well do what Luton are doing and say, right, we're protecting ourselves against relegation because they're going to have parachutes. They're going to have this, that, and the other. So sign players that will get you promoted again. And to be fair, look at what Rob Edwards did. He did really well with them in the Premier League with that team. They've not lost much of that squad at all. If anything, they've brought more to it. I'm excited to watch the likes of Alfie Doughty again. I think Carlton Morris, Adebayo, they're gonna do well. They're gonna do really well in this league. They got rid of Ross Barkley, Ryan Giles for $5 million and $5 million pretty much. That's it. Seriously, they've got a squad. They've got a real squad, and they don't have to shift anything about. They just carry on as they were. That is going to just put them in really good stead going into the season because it's about consistency. It's about being hard to beat, but being able to score goals as well. And I think in this league, consistency can do a lot for you. Rob Edwards knows what he's doing. I think Luton win the league. That's it. That's my predictions. But yeah, if you think I'm losing my mind or anything like that, do let me know. Hopefully, I don't come back to any stupid video edits when I've got things drastically wrong this time around. But yeah, it's good to be back, guys. It's good to be posting again. Follow the TikTok. I'm posting more on there, at Brummie Joe. Make sure you subscribe. Let me know your bottom 3, top 6 down in the comments below. Vlogs are coming back. Watch-alongs are coming back for the games I can't get to because I am a father now. Can't get to every single game. Watch-alongs. They're coming back, baby. Content's coming back. It's going to be good. Come on. Blues are on the up. It's all coming back. And we're going to have a lot of fun. And share this video with your nan, with anyone you like. Share it on Facebook. Send it to your auntie. And I'll catch you in the next one. And we'll see you back in the Championship next year. Okay, bye.